We're live.
Well, hello there. It's a finally feeling good Friday here on here on online on the World Wide Web on the interweb, as some of the older folks may say. Let's say so. Smith's in the studio with me. He's being my producer and my partner in crime, sort of, if you will, off screen. So Smith, how you doing this morning, man?
Doing great.
All right, so we have got Billy, who's going to be joining us a little bit later in the show. He's actually getting set up. We're doing a big, huge one-day event. Man, is this going to be a big deal. He's going to be up in Vidalia. He's setting up. I mean, he's got those big, huge inflatables. I mean, like those gigantic ones. They're like 30 feet in the air and all that kind of stuff. So he's getting set up. And then tomorrow, I'll be joining Billy, Joey, Ty, a couple of other, of our staff. We'll be heading up there, and we'll be there all day long for this one-day event. So this is a really big deal. If you are a car dealership, by the way, and you want to get in on the one-day sale, this is going to be really exciting. A lot of people. We've got over 150 appointments. So we got a whole bunch of people coming. We'll have a whole bunch of staff and a whole bunch of vehicles that are going to be sold. So make sure if you're interested in a big event like that, make sure you give us a buzz. You can call us. You can check us out. You can go to billymerritt.com for more information as well. So a lot of fun stuff. So Smith, the weather, today it's a little bit gray out there, but hey, we're not going to let that, we're not going to let that get in the way. Because in fact, Billy, he's out there. Is Billy ready, by the way?
He sure is.
Okay,
He's just joined.
All right. So, Billy's out there. There's a little bit of tiny sprinkling going on, just a little bit here in Douglas. So Billy, how's the weather out there?
Well, I'm on the roof. I'm on the roof of the dealership. And right now,
top of the world.
Right now, there's no rain at all. But my biggest fear is getting down.
Well, I mean, you got a ladder, right?
I do have a ladder, but it's that first step across the roof onto the ladder that's got me worried a little bit. But I do have a what is that? I have King Kong out here. We're actually going to put a hamster on the roof.
Now, how are people going to see a hamster on the roof?
Well, I mean, it's a 25-foot tall hamster.
It's a huge rodent.
Yes. Now, what we have right here, let me see if you see that?
Yep, I can see it.
So I thought I was buying a bulldog. It's not a bulldog. I don't know what kind of dog it is. It looks like a cross between a dog and a cat, but we named him Super Deal Dog. So Super Deal Dog's ready to party.
Super Deal Dog. All right, I can roll with that.
All right, well, I have the sales manager up here with me. I'm sorry, the general manager, Jared White. Anthony Miller, the owner down there, he's checking out Super Deal Dog. But I gotta hoist this big rodent on the roof. And then we got a baseball we got to put up. We're going to have a big party tomorrow. I think, as you know, we have about 200 appointments for tomorrow alone. So I'm a little bit nervous about how that's going to go.
I think that's the first time I've ever heard Billy be nervous about lots of people.
I'm telling you, man, I really don't even know what to expect other than just, hopefully controlled chaos.
Right. Well, we're looking forward to it. Again, I think it's going to be a lot of fun, especially it's going to be really special for the customers that are going to come out. They're going to get super deals going on tomorrow.
Hold on.
Vehicles. Yep.
Hey, can you take me out of the thing?
Smith? There we go. So I know we're going to have a lot of fun tomorrow. It's going to be great for the customers, getting all kinds of vehicles available. We've got vehicles, several of them under $5,000. One vehicle going to be sold for $100. So again, it's going to be a very cool deal. So make sure that you're planning it. By the way, if you are in the Vidalia area or the South Georgia area and you want to get your special voucher to be a part of this, you can do that. Just go to Paul Thigpen Ford on Facebook and you can get your voucher that way. So make sure that you do that. All right. So Smith, we were talking about, so the weather a little bit gray. You could see the grayness, if you will, behind Billy, but he talked about there was no rain. It's just barely sprinkling here, or at least it was when I walked in the building 4 minutes ago, and which, by the way, I'll go ahead and say it. I know you were thinking it. You didn't say it, but you were thinking it. I walked in at 2 minutes after 11.
I finally was just like, it's 10:55. I'm going to open my phone and watch Photoshop tutorials and they'll show up whenever they show up.
Smith kind of gave me that. He doesn't really have what I would call an evil eye. He kind of does that. There's just a look almost like of whatever,
difference.
Like the whatever eye is what he gives me. He just kind of looks at me like, whatever, are you ready? That's everything. So yeah, well, I was taking care of business. I was solving problems before I was actually here in the building, about 10 minutes ago, but I didn't walk in the studio until about 4 minutes ago, or four or 5 minutes ago anyway. Hey, also, don't forget, if you have not bought the Braves tickets, the Coffee High School fundraiser, the Braves tickets are still available. You can get those from April Merritt, or any of the what was it, the Dugout? Yeah, the Dugout Club.
Yes.
Any of the Dugout Club, you can get that. Smith a little bit later on, he'll put the link on there in the comments. So hey, there's my mom. She's saying good morning. So thanks for watching, Mom. She's always one of my biggest fans. You know, what can I say? She's my mom. You know, doing that kind of thing. So Sean, with it being spring, you know, I wanted to find something that was a little springy, if you will, a little bit springy. Yeah, so what I did was the beer of the week. So let's flip over to the beer recommendation. The beer of the week. This is now, you know, I've said before, I'm like, I love Sam Adams. I drank it for a long time, and I always like the different seasonal beers that they put out. And sometimes, I mean, I said this, I don't know, I had the Sam Adams Boston Lager probably, I don't know, a month and a half ago or whatever, where sometimes I forget about it, you know, because I'm always searching for the latest, you know, seasonal and stuff like that. And I always forget that the Sam Adams Lager, the original beer is such a good beer that I always forget about it sometimes. But whenever the seasonals come out, I always want to try them and, you know, and drink them, stuff like that. So this one is Sam Adams Alpine Lager. Now it's Alpine Lager. It's got the bright green label you can see on there, Alpine Lager. And it's actually, it's a little bit more, I would say, hoppy than what I normally drink. But, you know, because I've said before, I like a lot of the malts and a little bit of the darker, sweeter beers. But this one isn't really a dark beer at all. It's a little bit lighter. I'm not going to pour it into a glass or whatever. I'm sure you can find pictures of it online. But it is a little bit lighter, and it's got a little bit more hops to it, but it's very, well, on the label, it says brisk and smooth. Alpine Lager, brisk and smooth. But I kind of said it's got a little bit more hops to it than what I would normally drink, but it's actually, I'll call it refreshing. It's a refreshing beer. So it's 5.5% alcohol by volume and 18 IBUs. So Billy, who's out there working today, so I'll do a cheers to Billy and Sean. So have you been bike riding lately?
Yes, plenty. I've been walking and doing a bit more yoga lately because I could tell I'm doing a lot of aerobics, but I'm not stretching enough. So
you're not stretching enough.
Yes, which is why I've started doing about 25 minutes of yoga a day.
Okay.
I'll do a little bit in the morning, a little bit around like dinner time.
Okay.
Just between the sitting at the computer producing music and the biking and stuff like that.
Well, I was going to say, because this last week you took a little bit of time, you know, for yourself,
Yes.
Which is, hey, that's always good. It's always good to take a little time for yourself. So you took a little more time for yourself. You were still working, you know, hard if you were, well, you know. Well, he was working. He was working. But no, so you had some extra time to work in some other things and things like that. So it's a little weird when we have such chaotic schedules. It's kind of weird when you actually get a little bit of time, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
It probably took you, you know, at least a day or two to kind of like, okay, wait a minute. So you got to get acclimated to go, I have lots of time on my hands now.
Well, this is a plus and a minus, but I guess it was good timing. My mom wanted me to, while I had all this free time, clean up the house a bit. So I beat off all the rugs. I swept, I mopped, dusted, and the dust bunnies in our house were just atrocious because we had let it go way too long. And I destroyed my allergies. My dad came home and was exactly the same way as me. Like 10 minutes after getting into the house, we were just, I mean, for like 3 days straight. So I just wrecked all of our sinuses.
So the dust bunnies were atrocious at Smith's house.
But because of that, I started getting really tired really early. So I've been going to sleep much earlier and waking up earlier as well. So.
Oh, well, then it's a good thing I didn't message you late last night, because you probably would have been asleep. For some reason, I don't know what it was. I went to bed fairly early. I mean, I normally, I go to bed between 10 and 11 usually because I get up really early. I can't sleep late anymore. I usually get up between 5 and 6 in the morning. So I'll go to bed between like 10 and 11 most of the time. So I went to bed, but I turn the TV on, and normally again, I'll, in about 5 minutes, I'm relaxed. I'll turn the TV off and I'll fall right asleep. Well, last night I turned the television on, and my Cubs, I have the MLB package or whatever, so I can watch it on delay, or like the delayed broadcast. So because they played during the day yesterday and I was at work, so I went home thinking, hey, I'll watch the game, So I'm watching the game. Well, I watched the entire game, And I really thought I would fall asleep, but I watched the entire game. My Cubs won, so that's always a good sign for me. But at the same time, next thing I knew, it's like 12:30, and I'm wide awake. So I didn't get a whole lot of sleep, but I know I've got to get some rest tonight because I'll be in Vidalia tomorrow with Billy and the gang all day long. So I got to make sure that I got real sleep. Hey, by the way, Robert Brooker, he put a comment and he said that brisk and smooth sounds like iced tea, but this is not iced tea, Robert, but hey, that's all right. But both are brisk and smooth, and they're both refreshing. So I'm telling you, this is good stuff. So go check it out. Alpine Lager, our beer of the week. So Smith, we're doing things a little bit differently, today with Billy being out on location. You're kind of behind the camera, things like that. So what I wanted to do is, and I didn't want to give you a heads up. I wanted you to, just kind of, off the cuff.
Oh boy.
I wanted to give you the floor, if you will, for a couple of minutes.
Okay.
On our Wednesday show, on Winning Wednesdays with Billy and April, they have a Billy's topic. So Billy gets to choose whatever topic he wants. Billy's special topic or whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to give you the opportunity today. I'm going to give you Smith's topic.
Oh God.
So what do you want to talk about today? I'll give you the floor for just a few minutes. What's on your mind, Smith, in that deep brain of yours?
Yeah. What's on my mind that's not too nerdy for everyone?
Too late. We already know you are. So just bring it on. Whatever, if it's too nerdy that I don't understand you, then you'll have to elaborate and give me the definition.
Okay. I guess one thing I've been thinking about lately, and this will give me a moment to see if I can explain it well enough. We're all trying to create content off on the Facebook and the tube and all that good stuff. And people talk about evergreen content a lot. And I've been thinking about the videos I've posted in the past that have, sort of exploded to some degree over time, even though I've been, almost dead as far as activity goes. And it's all either like simple ambient music on the music channel, or it's just memes on my anime analysis channel. So it's evergreen obviously means things that people will continue to come back to. And I think it has a lot to do with usefulness and entertainment. It's one of those two things most of the time. So the ambience is useful because you can improv over it. You can sleep to it. You can, relax and meditate to it. And the memes are obvious. People always come back to memes because people always want to laugh and be entertained. So I've been thinking a lot about that. If you're creating content, try to ask yourself, is what I'm posting going to remain relevant into the future? And what I've been thinking about more than anything is with all the slowdown that I've had with my content creation, how many more like those would I have put out if I had just kept at it? Something to think about.
So how often are you posting now?
Well, I mean, it had definitely gotten to the point where there were like months between posts. Now, this is a little contradictory with what I've said in the past, because I always say, like, I want to hit something and finish it. Like, that should be the rule. But I did discover, quote unquote, a couple of days ago, there is a new theme for the newest Evangelion movie. It's like a classic 90s anime that they're putting out rebuild movies for now. And so while that's relevant, I decided it's a theme song. It's by Utada Hikaru. She's like big J-pop, K-pop song producer, singer. Decided to start retranscribing that. I'm going to turn it into a like ambient, relaxing piano only thing. Throw some rain over it. I've got a rain sample from the original show, so it's not just a random rain. Everything is coming straight from the show. And I'm just going to do one of those, like, one last kiss, 1 hour of relaxing piano version. And then I'm going to wait for it to blow up and hopefully profit.
Now, as you were talking, you noticed that I stood up because
Yes.
we were normally we're sitting. We're sitting in the stools or whatever, but I got this cool shirt. It's a cool Cub shirt. It's a little bit different. And, but it's one of my favorite ones now because it's pretty cool. So I apologize for interrupting, but I was thinking about that while you were talking. So I just wanted to flash this real quick. It's my new Cub shirt, but the front of it, is okay. It's the back, so I'm going to spin around so you can see it. And maybe you can see it.
Dope. Yeah, that looks awesome.
But what it is, it's all the people it's all the teams that are in the Central Division. So it's a pretty cool shirt. So it's just one of the many ones, as you've seen, as I'm wearing Chicago stuff usually when we're doing the show during football season. After baseball season's over, I was wearing Bears gear, and now that baseball season's back in, then I'm wearing Cub stuff. Which, by the way, you were talking about, you called it Evergreen. Is that right?
Evergreen content.
Evergreen content.
It's just essentially content that we can feel pretty confident people will always be coming back to.
Okay. So I was unaware, so I was glad that you kind of gave me the definition of that. Because when you said evergreen, first thing I'm thinking of is I was like, well, this is kind of like the color. It's kind of like the color of evergreen, or I'm really showing my age. It reminds me maybe like my older sister Barb. Barbara Streisand had a song called Evergreen. I think it was.
Hey.
So that was the first thing that popped into my head. But so, all right. So when you were talking about doing the 1 hour of piano music, calling it One Last Kiss and all that kind of stuff, ambient music.
Yes.
So that's definitely it's a unique, what's the word I'm looking for?
Genre?
Yeah. I mean, it is. It's a very unique genre.
Yeah.
A lot of people maybe don't, you wouldn't think like, hey, what's your favorite kind of music? A lot of people, it may not be their first pick. They'll be like, oh,
Right.
I love ambient music. But there's a lot of people that listen to that when they go to sleep.
Yeah. Some of these videos, like these just piano and rain videos, some of them have like 22 million views and they're like 10 hours long. And this is another thing to think about. Think of how much watch time you can get out of a video like that. Like, people always need to sleep. And
Right.
they're always going to listen to at least nearly the whole thing if they're actually going to sleep while using it.
Right.
I mean, that's something I've been thinking a lot about. It's pretty clear, hindsight's 2020, but it becomes pretty clear why those are the ones that blew up, in my opinion. So
Because of the length?
well, because of the length and because of the usefulness. And like I said, you can do more than just sleep to it. Like, I've got comments from people who are like, and obviously there are two different types of ambient music. There's like the sort that has the chordal structure of an actual song, and then there's what's called like drone ambient music, where it's just like, in the case of the one I have that blew up, it's a D minor chord the entire time. It never changes the chord. But people love to play that and just freely improv on their guitar, for example, because it just stays in that D minor chord, and it really forces you to get creative. Like, if you can make D minor sound good for 12 minutes, it's pretty difficult. Pretty difficult.
It would sound like that to me. That would be
Yeah.
much, much more difficult. Robert Brooker, a friend of his, once posted a very, very long video. He said he's going to PM the link. Some of the vocals are, we'll say, colorful, is the way he put it. But speaking of
Sounds good.
colorful, by the way, what in the heck is all? What is this in the background that you got
Oh
me
man,
in front of, or whatever? I mean, when I jumped in the studio, or whatever, and I looked, I feel like I'm in a basket of Easter eggs or something.
well, Billy's been talking about balloons, so I thought it would be.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's balloons up in the ceiling.
Oh, okay.
I had to I had to really zoom in on the photo because it was a big square photo. It wasn't like landscape. But yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, actually, like on the big screen, when I was looking at it in the monitor, I couldn't really see the strings.
Okay.
So that's why I was like, "What? I'm either inside an Easter basket or inside a bubblegum machine or something." That's the only thing I could think of was all these oddball colors. But you're right. Yeah, Billy's been talking about all the balloons and the inflatables and and all that kind of stuff. Well, by the way, I know that it's over and done with now. But did you do anything special for Easter? Did you guys hide eggs? Did you buy the Easter candy, anything like that?
About the only thing we done, we went out to, what is it? Spivey's seafood shack or something like that. Had gator tail and hot wings, and it was yummy.
Was that the first time you've had gator tail?
No,
Yeah.
I love gator tail.
It's really good. I mean,
Gator tail and onion blossoms is like one of my favorite combinations.
you mean you eat them together?
Yeah.
Oh wow, no, that I haven't had.
Mm.
That I haven't had. Well, I was wondering, when Easter rolls around, they have all the different Easter candy.
Mhm.
So like Peeps,
Oh yeah.
the little marshmallow things. Do you eat those?
I used to. I don't these days. I did pick up some of those Ghirardelli, like little flat chocolate bunnies. It's like milk chocolate with caramel filling on the
I
inside.
know, those are awesome.
Yeah, super sweet, but very,
Yeah.
very yummy.
Yeah, the Ghirardelli or whatever. Those are really good chocolates. Well, the thing was, I went by Walmart just like what's today, Friday, 2 days ago. I went into Walmart and I'm thinking, because I'm always looking for a deal. You know,
Right.
I mean, I'm always looking for the deal. So I'm thinking, all right, it's after Easter. So I'm expecting they're going to have Easter candy marked down, right?
Yeah.
It's after Easter, you know. So now I don't like Peeps. Those are, you know, I don't like Peeps. I think maybe our buddy, you know, Felipe Tina Hero, maybe he's a peep eater. I don't know, but I know he just commented on there. He's out working hard, by the way, in Louisiana, helping out a car dealership. So maybe we can, you know, get him some. Felipe, do you like Peeps? While he's got a second, you know, I'm curious. Comment if you like Peeps. You know, Peeps, yes or no. Just put, you know, Peeps, yes, Peeps, no. If you like Peeps. But I mean, I didn't care about if they had Peeps. What I was looking for, to be honest, there were two things I was looking for. They always have the what is it? What do you call the different colors? Dang it. What do you call you know, the light colors, the Easter colors? What do they call those? You know, the light purple and the light blue and all that. I can't even think of what you call
I'm
them.
clueless.
You know, but anyway, but those, you know, those Easter type colors, they have those in M&Ms. Okay.
Oh, okay.
You know, so I'm thinking, okay, those big bags of M&Ms, you know, and I'm thinking, all right, well, normally those are really expensive. Pastels. Thank you, my sister Barb.
Hey.
Pastels. That's what I was looking for. So I went there thinking, all right, they're going to have M&Ms. I like peanut M&Ms. There's nothing wrong with regular M&Ms, but I like peanut M&Ms. So I'm thinking they're going to have those. They're going to have them in the pastel colors. They're going to have a markdown. I'm going to get like 4 bags. So that was my, you know, kind of my idea when I went in there. And the other thing that I was looking for, you like Reese's peanut butter cups?
Yeah, I enjoy
Okay.
them.
All right. Have you had the Reese's, the Easter eggs? You know, they're a little bit different. Have you had those?
I haven't. I really don't eat that many sweets these days, to be honest.
Well, I will say, I mean, now I like Reese's. I mean, you know, they're good, you know, I mean, and I'll eat them once in a while. But what I like about the Easter egg ones, first of all, they're bigger. But the reason that I like is there's more peanut butter in them than chocolate. You know, it's like the chocolate and peanut butter ratio or whatever is a little different. So I like those. And normally they sell those in a 6-pack, you like little 6 little eggs. And my girlfriend Brenda, she loves them too. So I'm thinking, great. You know, I'll get like 2 of those. I'll get a 6-pack. She'll get a 6-pack. It's a completely different 6-pack than what I'm normally buying. But you know, so I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to get those. So I go. First of all, I couldn't find the 6-packs of the Easter eggs, of the Reese eggs. So I was pretty irritated about that. Then I go, I find the pastel M&Ms. You know, they're not marked down.
Right.
I was not a happy man. I mean, I was a little irritated. I got to say, you know, I was a little irritated, you know, because again, I was any other time they you know, they mark that stuff down, you know, I mean, like Halloween, you know, like right after Halloween, you know, they always mark down all the candy, you know, and so I was expecting to get like, you know, a whole bunch of the pastel peanut M&Ms and the Easter egg. And I honestly, I didn't even buy them. I was so irritated. I didn't get any. I didn't buy any of them. So I was like, nope, I'll wait. I'll go back in a week or two, see if they're still there, see if they're marked down. I mean, M&Ms, you know, they don't really go bad.
They'll either be marked down or they'll all be gone.
Yeah, you know, either way. I mean, it's not like my life doesn't revolve around it. I guess I made a big to do about it, but I was, you know, like I said, I was irritated because I didn't buy any, but you know, still is just kind of annoying. By the way, as you were talking earlier, I had to slide over. I'm just on the move today. I'm just moving around, you know, doing all kinds of stuff. I was on the move because when you told me to sit in the middle, you know, because Billy wasn't there, and so then I was kind of like, you know, I was sitting in front of Billy's name almost. So then I moved.
Yeah,
you know,
I literally just realized it was still there.
You know, so moved it over and all that kind of stuff. So doing that kind of thing. So, all right. So music wise, let's move on to the classic rock revisit for this week. So you were talking about, and by the way, I did not know that, you know, again, I gave Smith the floor. All right. So when he was talking about ambient music, this is about as extreme opposite, you know, as you can get. In 1992, the album Revenge by Kiss. And by the way, Kiss typically known for their 70s stuff, you know, I mean, the Rock and Roll All Night and, you know, Shout It Out Loud, stuff like that. So they're much more well known for their 70s material. But they had a few hits in the 80s, you know, when they put the hair really big and took the makeup off and all that kind of stuff, but they never really had the success they did in the 70s when they had the makeup on. Well, then so again, in 1992, they came, and this was, you got to remember, this was right on the verge of grunge, and the music business knew there was kind of a change happening. So somebody had kind of worked with them and said, hey, you know, you can't do the stuff you did in the 80s. It's not going to fly. So you got to change the music up a little bit. So they came out with Revenge in 1992. And I got to tell you, it's my favorite Kiss album. I mean, to me, it's better than the 70s stuff. I mean, I really like this material. And now it's a little bit dark. I mean, I don't mean like grunge dark. It's just a little more rough edged, kind of darker rock. But there's some cool guitar riffs on there. Bruce Kulick, the guitarist, did a really good job in there. And some of the songs they put out, Unholy and Domino. Every Time I Look at You was the ballad that got a lot of airplay. Wasn't near as big as Beth, again, the ballad from the 70s. But but it was a top 10 single. So it's good for them, but a lot of really cool music work on it musically. The guitar parts are fantastic. Drums, it's a really well-rounded album in my opinion. There's several songs typical of Kiss, several songs where Gene Simmons sings, and then and then most of the album is Paul Stanley on lead vocals. But there's some really good stuff. And God Gave Rock and Roll to You, that was originally released in the Bill and Ted's the second movie, Bill and Ted's whatever it was, Bogus Adventure or something like that. It was released on that soundtrack, and then they released it on this album too. So, but there's a lot of really good stuff on there, and again, some awesome tunes on there that I really, really, really like. And check out "Thou Shalt Not." That is my that's my deep cut pick, if you will. So check out Kiss Revenge from 1992 and the song "Thou Shalt Not." It's a really, really cool song. Gene Simmons on the lead vocal on that one. So some really good stuff. So Smith, you and I were talking about a couple weeks ago off air.
Mm-hmm.
You were asking me, is the guitar solo dead?
Oh yeah. Right.
And with pop music, I think it is. I would have to say with pop music, I think the guitar solo is definitely dead. Rock bands that are still out, and there's not that many of them. I don't think rock is dead. By the way, I didn't, with Gene Simmons, he famously said it, I don't know, probably 10 years ago was when the first time he really said it. And then he said it ever since that rock is dead. That there's just not, rock music is dead. It's, never coming back, yada, yada. And I will say that it won't, in my opinion, at least in my lifetime, I don't think it's ever going to come back as strong as it was, or where it won't be, like the, I don't know if rock was ever considered like the most popular, because when you say rock and roll, there was a lot of bands that consider themselves rock and roll that wasn't really rock. You had a lot of, pop bands and things like that was, they called it rock and roll. It, in fact, similar to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I think of rock music. But at the same time, I mean, like Madonna is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. See what I mean? Aretha Franklin is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So those aren't really rock bands. I mean, they're phenomenal artists, and certainly worthy of accolades and things like that. But man, oh man, I mean, when I think of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I'm thinking, rock music. Mm-hmm. So it was a little bit different. So I don't think that the guitar solo is necessarily dead. I just don't think that it's as strong, as it once was.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people like on YouTube saying it's not really in the top 40 charts anymore. It doesn't really exist there. Outside of, I'd say, like John Mayer will occasionally get a song, in the top 100 at least, that has a guitar solo.
Right.
But he he's one of those artists that I would say he finds a way to have complicated music while also having it just be groovy and catchy and poppy. Because it's almost all in the finger picking, in the way that he plays the chords. It's still those simple, 4-chord beats that catch, just get stuck in your head. He's slapping on the snare beat and he's picking in these weird patterns, and then he's got that little 15-second jazzy guitar solo. I will say though, I think one thing I was also thinking about is in other countries, it's a little bit different. There's still a lot of like jazz influence in pop and rock over in Japan, for example, and they still have guitar solos, maybe not as frequent. And as well as other countries, I'd say just, internet culture is a big thing.
Right.
Lo-fi hip hop, weirdly enough, you can find, I think the one I was listening to the other day was A Vinci Cloud, I believe was the mix. Mm-hmm. And it's like nothing but what they call it, warm guitar lo-fi mix or something like that. And it's all these like finger picked jazz patterns and guitar leads, every once in a while a guitar solo. And it's not 200 million views like the newest pop song, but occasionally you'll find one that'll have like 2 million views, and people are coming back to it.
Well, funny that you mentioned other countries, because Robert Brooker, he posted up a comment and said, those you'll find in Japan, those incredibly complex and perfectly played by a very young person that was smaller than the guitar. There are times that you can tell the one playing is into it. And, you're right. In other countries, completely different. I mean, American rock music,
Right.
is huge in, like, say, Germany. I mean, they
Right.
love American, rock, and we're talking like rock music. I'm not talking about pop. I mean, yes, there are pop fans, in Germany that like like American pop music, but the classic rock bands, if you will, are still really big because, again, like you said, with the advent of the internet, people are still finding it. So generation after generation after generation, are finding it. So you get that new generation of fans.
Yeah, and you've got people like me who listen to Japanese artists all the time. I listen to Ryoko, I listen to Tada Hikaru, I listen to all sorts of these types of people. Even some of the 80s stuff, like there's a lot of 80s Japanese music that has that, synth guitar solos, jazz chords, like soaring vocals, 7-8 minute songs. I mean, maybe not as much as you can find in the 80s in America, but it's out there. And there's a lot of sleeper hits. I mean, stuff that now has millions of eyes on it in America because it's on YouTube.
So Robert, he asks you, Sean, because he knows I don't play. So he's asking you, do you do it? Do you slap that bass, Smith?
I slap on my acoustic guitar. And if you want to go over to Composing the Narrative on YouTube, you can check out, I have a cover of Warmth from the Love Hina OST, where I'm doing that, whole slapping the guitar on the snare beat. I don't play the bass enough to be proficient at slapping the bass, unfortunately. It's something I'm working on.
Slapping the bass.
I do love
slap. By the way, it was a nice little plug. If you'd like to go ahead and say it one more time in case anybody missed it. Where do they go?
Yeah. It's Composing the Narrative, all one word, on YouTube. I'll be happy to link it.
Oh, you look at him. I'll be happy to do that.
I can look up
whenever we ask him, hey, could you pull it up? He's like, oh, I got, you got to give me some time. You got to give me some heads up to do this kind of thing, but when it's his YouTube, let me pull that up. That's not a problem at all. I can do that right now, as a matter of fact.
Okay, so here's the actual song. I won't force you.
See how quick that was. See how fast it's in the comments right now.
No.
So what is it called again? Something the narrative or something.
Composing the Narrative.
Composing.
And the song is Warmth. It's from the Love Hina OST. It's an old classic anime. It's old tropey romantic comedy stuff. I don't know if I love the anime itself. The soundtrack is beautiful. I love this song. I had to write it for that slap guitar style.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really pretty, really relaxing if you want to check it out.
How many songs, if you just estimate, how many songs have you written?
Oh, God.
Not necessarily recorded, but how many have you written?
Written and finished?
Just written. How many have you written?
Just written. Just started. I mean, that's...
Well, all right, written and finished.
Okay, I was about to say, because that's probably over 1,000. Just written and finished. I think probably around 100. I think I have like maybe 80 something like that on my actual YouTube channel. And there's old stuff from the old bands old stuff from the old bands.
And not only is he going to put the link, he's going to play his music too. Welcome to the Smith Show.
I was hoping I could find a number right here, but I think I'd have to log in. It's around 100. Can
you take the picture that you just had up on your because our viewers can't see it, so I could see your monitor there for a minute. The one of you sitting there with a guitar, you're on a couch, I think it is.
Oh sure. Let me mute this tab.
Pull that up on the screen so that people can see it. I want people to look at him. Look at Smith. Can you put that on our screen?
Yeah, I just have to. Oh yeah. I can do that actually. Over.
Yeah, so put that on our screen, if you will. I want you to see how cool,
how cool I look with the hat and shades as Jose always. And
let me get out of the way. So
still playing in the head.
Yeah, look at Smith. Look at that. He's like, hey, I'm a badass. Look at me. I'm a rock star.
Jose has taken to calling me the hat and shades.
Hat and shades. You should change the page. It's easier to remember that than composing the narrative. You should be hatandshades.com. You need to find that. See if there's a website called hatandshades.com.
That's a good idea.
If not, then that's your new thing. Hatandshades.com. I'll be on the lookout for that. Smith hat and shades. But you it is funny though, because a lot of times people when people talk about, that they make music, things like that, you do kind of get, I mean, doesn't the hat and the sunglasses, doesn't it kind of put you in that right mindset, if you will?
Yeah, well, it also helps to get rid of some of the anxiety. And I don't know if I discovered this after I realized why or before, but one thing about the shades especially is you don't have to worry about that. Oh, my eyes are darting all over the place. I look so nervous.
They do what?
Yeah, exactly. That and like you're gonna get glare off of the lights, of course, because it's a reflective surface. But it's almost better than looking into a bright light and worrying about that.
Yeah.
It's just less to worry about. And I don't know any excuses for the hat. I have no hair.
I mean, I have hair and I wear a hat all the time. So I mean, they're just, I don't know. There's hat people, and there's hat and shades people. Hatandshades.com coming your way soon.
On a positive note, it's given me that drive, I guess, to discover one more thing to stylize on. I mean, maybe it's a waste of money, but I buy a lot of hats now. I like having different hats. It's cool. Different hats from different shows I like. And it's a cool way to brand things. Like now I know if I want to do an Evangelion analysis video, maybe I have an Evangelion hat lying around. That works.
And if you don't, then you can have one made by there's a company that we know.
Aha.
Do you want to give them the plug?
Yeah, Dark 30, right?
Mm-hmm.
I am working on some designs for Dark 30.
Oh, actually. Look at you. He's so multi-talented.
More than happy.
Is one going to say a hat and shades?
Oh, that's a great idea.
Hat and shades. That's what you got to do. In fact, if Felipe, he's got his company, Dark 30.
Yes.
So in fact, here's an idea. In fact, I could be giving it away on the internet. I mean, somebody could come up with this and it might be $1 million idea that I'm just going to give away. If he makes the hat and shades, hat, okay, if you get the hat and it says hat and shades, then you make the hat and then you have sunglasses that come with it. So like, those ones that like with the stretchy band, like the stretch band. So that, it's on the hat and then you can take it and you can put them on like this. See, so you got hat and shades. So I'm telling you, there's your $1 million idea.
I've been trying to think about like a meta way to do it because there are always these jokes on YouTube, at least by like my favorite analysis guy, best guy ever. He'll pull off the glasses and there's like another pair of glasses underneath that you couldn't tell were there. Just goofy stuff like that. Wearing 3 pairs of hats for no apparent reason, just because it's funny.
Yeah. Take one off and there's another hat, and then take one off, there's another hat.
If I may just like show off real quick.
Well, why not? You've been doing it for the last 15 minutes.
I keep talking about how I'm working on the. Let me see if I can get this on.
I mean, I could just leave.
It's on a white background, so it won't quite look right. This is obviously going to be on black.
I could have just like not shown up and just it's Feel Good Friday with Smith.
But this is some of the kind of stuff you can look forward to from my designs.
Is that Medusa?
That is a neon Medusa.
Okay, yeah.
It looks better on black. I should have printed
that
it.
Stuff where I gotta get out of the way.
The problem is I printed it transparent, so it's.
Gotcha. So I mean, do you want it? You want it to be purple like that?
Yeah. I was thinking between purple and green. I wanted it to have that, poisonous, sort of dangerous look.
Is that poison? Is purple poison?
I mean, all the images I was looking at were like the snakes were green and the hair was either like purple or red. So I thought that was the way to go.
Oh, there you go. Robert Brooker just said it could be a tattoo.
Could be a tattoo.
Hey. You could get a tattoo of that.
Yeah.
And you'd be even more. You could be even more badass. Get one like on your chest, Smith, and wear just the hat and shades. See, there you go. No shirt. You just got the tattoo on the chest, hat and shades. Then you create a whole other website, hat, shades, and tattoo.
Hey, I'm sure my mom would be proud.
Yes, yes, she probably would. Well, I do have some things that I have to do. So, but I don't want to cut you off on your even though he says,
Oh,
I don't want to
no.
brag. I don't want to brag. That's like when somebody says, no offense, but
Yeah,
they set that up.
I hate that whole, I'm gonna be working on that stuff, but I got nothing to show you. I mean, I do want to show you something. Like, it is coming. I got
So what else do you want to not brag about, but show the world?
It's just sure. Maybe we can find something that's actually on a background that makes sense. Oh yeah, you know what? This actually definitely makes more sense.
By the way,
And-
while he's looking for some stuff, I'll let you know that in the comments you can see facebook.com/thedark30. That's the company Felipe has where they make the hats, all the different types of hats that he has available. So you can buy those at the Dark 30 on Facebook.
And as something that's a little less like spooky and not normie, I guess this is.
I mean, you got this whole there. Thank you.
There,
I'm
sorry,
like, you got this whole side, and he puts it right behind me.
So that's another one. And I will say these aren't available yet. I wanted to get.
That's good.
I wanted to get the batch done. I'm gonna get like a dozen of them done. Send them all over. Make sure, what does he think will actually sell? All that good stuff.
So there you go, folks. So a bunch of stuff that Smith has that you can't buy.
Soon,
there it
very
is.
Soon, very soon. I didn't want him thinking that it's all gonna be like Medusas and demons and stuff. It's not all gonna be freak stuff. Like,
most of it will, but not all of it. He's gonna have
Exactly.
one that's gonna be just a happy face, and in pink letters that says Dark 30. It's gonna be a happy hat.
hey,
He's gonna wear a happy hat sometimes. So
Yeah.
but anyway, I gotta run. I've got some things that I've got to take care of. I got some more problems to solve. By the way, a quick shout out again to our guys on the road working hard. Felipe, or as we like to call him, Phil. Sometimes I call him Showbiz Phil. Sometimes I call him Bad Phil. But anyway, Felipe, he's out, and also Chad, Frankie. I apologize if I'm forgetting somebody, but I think those are a few of the guys. I know that there's probably two more that I can't remember now, but the guys that are working hard out on location at the dealerships. Again, they travel, they're on the road a lot, things like that. And it's a rare breed to be able to do that. And then, again, tomorrow I'll be joining Billy and Joey and Ty, and there's probably like, I don't know, 6 or 7 more that will be at Paul Thigpen Ford. So that's going to be a big day tomorrow. You can still get in on that, Paul Thigpen Ford on Facebook to get your voucher, that one-day sale. Several vehicles sold under $5,000, one vehicle sold for $100. So it's going to be a big, big, big deal. So you guys have a great weekend. Remember, don't forget, check out Sam Adams' Alpine Lager. Also check out Kiss's Revenge album from 1992. If you're going to be drinking this weekend, make sure that you're not driving. Have a great weekend, and we will see you next Friday for Feel Good Friday right here.